Well, this is the group of Angela Kestel, Tekla Ofmüller, and myself. Our topic is the representation of Mark Twain and slavery as we experienced it on our trip. Our project has a three-part structure. It is about how Mark Twain was represented, it is about how slavery was represented, and it is about the connections between the two topics. We, in this chart that we have here, we start out with a quote that we saw at the gift shop at the Frogmore Plantation. I'll just read that out. Traffic is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. Many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. This quote was sort of taken out of context and placed into the context of the Frogmore Plantation. It's a nice way how these topics today interconnect. So let me begin by talking about our expectations about Mark Twain. I personally had the expectation that at Hannibal there would be a strong focus on literature and sort of a real-life look at his biography. Other than that, we had no real expectations because I guess it's not a very controversial topic. About slavery, we had the following expectations: openness with the topic, self-critical attitude, unbiased views, historically accurate perspectives, politically correct treatment of the subject. Those were our expectations. Let's look at our impressions.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
You felt that you were unbiased.
No, we expected the depiction of slavery
would be unbiased.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's quickly look at Mark Twain and Hannibal. One of the aspects that we saw there that we didn't expect was consumerism. I have a little video at the very close to the museum in Hannibal, and it's, by the way, it's not a museum, it's an interpretive center. We have this coffee cup that sort of rotates. I'll quickly show you the video because it becomes more alive with the video. There, that coffee cup. I think when you leave the museum, you can see it rotating. It's the Mark Twain, the net. Dinette. Yeah. A very nice little example of how money is made off of the cult around Mark Twain. My personal impression was that there was a lacking focus on the literature, and that lack was sort of filled by a personality cult. We saw that at the museum with many of these white statues in the museum. At the Mississippi River Museum in Dubuque, we had this bench with also a statue of Mark Twain. You can see my picture there. Also, again at Hannibal, we saw the impersonator, and let me quickly give you a video of the impersonator, just to give you a taste again of how he was. Yes. And overall, I guess our impression was that there was a lot of personality cult, but it was really on the surface, and it didn't go into the literature. Yes, please.
Were they all the same Twain, roughly? That is, the statues, the performance, the images. Were they basically?
At Hannibal, there was this focus on the white Mark Twain, wearing white suits. which is a stereotypical image.
All the
At Mississippi, also always the older Twain, not the younger Twain. That's also interesting how just the older Twain is represented, and that connects to our expectation that there would be a full look at his life. But I personally felt that wasn't entirely fulfilled. Another stereotypical image was the Tom Sawyer fence that I think most of us went to and painted over. Just another little touch of if you like, consumerism. That was the Mark Twain part. Slavery, with regard to slavery, we focused on the experience that we had at Frogmore. Let's see. Although it really gave us a good look at how the life at the plantation was, we were critical of many things and felt that sometimes slavery was romanticized. One video will give you an illustration of what I mean by that. I think it was this one. We were listening in the background to slave songs and we're walking through the huts. I think it is this one. Yeah, it is. In the background you can listen to the songs that the slaves happily sang when they were working, and it really romanticized the topic. Another similar observation was the emphasis that the lady at Frogmore had on the doctor's bills. That's the picture here. In a way, of course, it shows that there was humanity in slavery, but in another way, it doesn't take into perspective the larger picture. That's at least how we felt. And the third part that we have here is our conclusions and also connections between the two topics. One connection is, of course, the quote that we started with. Another connection was a very tiny spot at the Mark Twain Museum in Hannibal that was a rug with a sign that simply said, "This is the rug where the slaves in the Twain household or in the Clemens household slept on." We looked at this as a way to bring in the topic of slavery in the Twain context, but it's of course it's just an attempt, a beginning attempt. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, overall, the picture of Twain as well as slavery is a constructed one, and in a way an incomplete one that still needs to be filled in. I think that's the preliminary conclusion that we've come to for today.
Did you buy the claim both of Frogmore and Randy in his tour that in Louisiana slaves were treated differently than they were in other parts of the South? I mean, you have to know more.
Yeah,
it's possible.
It's of course it's possible.
Yeah,
and I totally buy into this idea that depending on the plantation where they were, conditions might have been good or very severe, and that absolutely. But there's lots of uncertainty. For instance, with regard to Frogmore, we had absolutely no information about the specific situation at Frogmore. It was very general, but nothing was said about the specific situation at Frogmore. And another little observation about Frogmore was that although we looked at the slave quarters, we didn't look at the mansion.
They still live there.
Yeah, they still live there, but just the contrast between the two, would have been very telling. Yeah.
Do you think